Language Leap with EU Empire.
Elevate your English, one story at a time. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Language Leap with You Empire. I'm Sarah.
And I'm David.
How are you doing today, David?
I'm doing great, Sarah. It's been a busy but exciting day. What about you?
I'm feeling really good. I'm particularly excited about today's topic because it's something everyone can relate to.
Absolutely. Today, we're discussing social situations, how to navigate them smoothly, especially when you're trying to improve your English.
Exactly, whether it's meeting someone new, attending a party, or having a casual conversation, social situations can be challenging, but also a great way to practice speaking confidently.
Yes, throughout today's episode, we'll share our own experiences and provide tips on handling these situations effectively. But first, Sarah, how do you personally feel about social interactions in English?
That's a great question. For me, it used to be nerve-wracking, especially when I didn't feel confident in my vocabulary. But I've learned a few tricks that make it easier, like preparing simple conversation starters or practicing small talk. How about you?
I've had similar experiences. When I first started learning English, I struggled with maintaining conversations, but now realize that staying calm and being a good listener really helps. Plus, asking open-ended questions always keeps the conversation going.
I totally agree. And speaking of keeping the conversation going, we have our vocabulary expert, Emily, here with us today to help our listeners grasp the language better. Welcome, Emily.
Thanks, Sarah. I'm excited to be here and share some useful vocabulary to help our listeners feel more comfortable in social settings.
Let's start with the basics. Meeting someone for the first time. First impressions are so important. One of my go-to phrases is simply asking, "How's your day going?" It's an easy way to break the ice.
That's a great one. I also like to use, "Nice to meet you. What do you do?" It's polite and gives the other person something to talk about. What about you, Sarah? What do you find helps in these situations?
I like to smile and maintain eye contact. It sounds simple, but it goes a long way in making a good impression. Also, responding with phrases like, "That sounds interesting," or "Tell me more," keeps the conversation flowing.
Definitely. Showing interest is key. Now, Emily, could you help our listeners with some vocabulary for first-time interactions?
Of course, David. Here are a few key terms. Break the ice, a phrase used to describe the act of starting a conversation in a social situation. First impression, the initial opinion or feeling someone forms when they meet you for the first time. Open-ended question, a question that requires more than a yes or no answer, like "What do you do?" Those are important terms to remember when meeting someone new. Back to you, Sarah.
Let's move on to casual conversations, those moments where you need to keep the dialogue going. Sarah, how do you approach these situations?
In casual conversations, I like to ask about people's hobbies or weekend plans. It's a neutral topic and helps you learn more about them. What do you think, David?
I agree. Questions like, "What did you do over the weekend?" or "Any exciting plans coming up?" work really well. And if the conversation lulls, I always have a light-hearted topic, like asking about a recent movie or show.
Yes, I do that too. It's great for keeping things friendly and relaxed. Emily, what key phrases should we keep in mind for casual conversations?
Sure, here are a few. Casual conversation, informal talk between friends or acquaintances. Hobbies, activities people enjoy doing in their free time. Keep the dialogue going, a phrase that means to continue talking without awkward pauses. I hope these phrases help you navigate your next casual conversation.
Finally, let's talk about handling social events and parties. These can be overwhelming, especially if you're trying to speak in English.
Absolutely. I usually start by finding common ground with people, asking, "How do you know the host?" or "Have you been to this kind of event before?" Helps me ease in to conversations.
That's a great approach. I also like asking about people's favorite foods or drinks, especially at parties. It keeps things light and fun.
Exactly. Parties don't have to be stressful. Just relax, be yourself, and don't be afraid to laugh if you make A mistake.
Couldn't agree more. Emily, could you walk us through some key vocabulary for social events?
Certainly. Here's some helpful vocabulary. Common ground, finding shared interests or experiences to talk about. Light-hearted, not too serious, a fun and easygoing conversation. Host, the person who organizes or holds an event. These words will help you feel more confident at social events.
Well, that wraps up today's episode. We hope these tips and vocabulary help you feel more comfortable in social situations.
A big thanks to Emily for breaking down the vocabulary today. And to all our listeners, keep practicing and building your confidence in English.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on the Language Leap with You Empire. Stay social and stay confident. Thanks for watching. Don't miss out. Subscribe and dive into more exciting lessons.